Hey everybody, it's me, Mary Mitchell. How are you? The last video I put out was about alcohol inks, and there's so much more to tell you about alcohol inks and the possibilities of that medium and the versatility of it. One of them is the first one I did. If you look, it's in my YouTube channel. I went rather aggressive without really, kind of having an idea, watching a lot of videos, doing my homework, but I bit off a lot. I was lucky, I guess, that it came out, it came out pretty good. Anyway, so what I decided to do is do some more research. So I did some more research and I found this channel. It's based in Denmark, and I don't know the name. I'm not going to try. I know that I have it in my head, but I'm not going to try to pronounce it because it is, I'm going to put the link in the description. So anyway, I'm going to make this short because nobody likes to hear people really talk without having something important to say, and I have something important to say. Okay, so when I was doing a piece, another practice piece, I was using quite a bit of isopropyl alcohol, and any site will hopefully tell you, and if they don't, it's a remiss perhaps in the description. But when you're working with alcohol inks and you're working with isopropyl alcohol to any quantity, substantive quantity, if I've said that right, a good amount. And there are fumes, and you can hurt yourself with the fumes. So what you want to do is protect yourself. And one way there's a couple ways. You can have a filter in your office. You have to make sure that it filters out those types of fumes, the type of fumes that is isopropyl alcohol, which is, they suggest 91% and above, and they do make 99%. I found some. Typically I use 91%. I find that sufficient. But the other thing is you want to have the respirator. Please, gloves, eyes, because even your eyes can start to burn, So just try to keep yourself really protected. But I was doing all of that, and I was working on this piece, and my husband came in and he said, "Mary, could you just stop a minute?" And I had the door closed and everything, but I didn't really have any proper ventilation. I didn't realize how much alcohol fumes there were in my office. I thought the mask would be plenty, and I didn't think I was using that much. But anyway, let's cut to the chase. I took off my mask. I went outside with my mask on and closed the door, and I took my mask off. And although I couldn't really smell the vapors, he said, "Now open the door." So I opened the door and I went, whoa. Like, whoa, there's a lot of vapors in there. And when you have a lot of vapors in one room, now he works in healthcare, and they have isopropyl alcohol to, things I don't even understand, but they have special lighting and everything so that the vapors don't blow out the lighting. I mean, it's way over my head, okay? But he's, because he's in that field, he is very, very cautious to the nth degree. So I respect that. So I said, wow, my first instinct was, leave me alone. My second feeling was, oh my God, I can't work with isopropyl alcohol unless I have all the windows open, air mask, respirator on, and so on. That's not the case. He was right. I should have. He said, "Mary, you at least have a window open with the fan on exhaust." I said, "Yeah, I do, but it's cold out." He said, "Doesn't matter. You have to do that. So you can't keep all those vapors building up in the room. Even if you're protected, they're building up." Okay, and let's face it, my office, although it's enclosed, is not airtight. So, he was right, and I found myself with a dilemma because I don't know a lot about alcohol inks. So I said, okay, well, from now on, I'm just going to make sure, or I'll just wait for the spring. But I don't want to wait for the spring because I'm onto this really cool medium and I really like it. So I was cruising some channels, and I'm a newbie. I have no problem saying that. And I found this channel, and it's, like I said, it's in Denmark, and she or they uses, they use very minimal alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. And there's not so much, you know, the alcohol ink, you know, we're talking real small quantities, and highly, highly pigmented. So to get them, you know, some of the pigment reduced, you have to add some isopropyl alcohol. So I said, okay, I found this channel, and it was really what I was looking for, you know, ask and you shall receive. Although this is a little materialistic, but anyway, I was searching, and when you search, you can find, let's put it that way. So I found this channel, and as I said, she works with very little isopropyl alcohol, but here's what she introduced me to, and will introduce you to. Posca pastel pencils. Now, these are oil-based. And what she or he does, I'm sorry, I think it's a she, is she blocks out her pattern in, I've seen her doing it, demonstrate in other colors, but she did a piece strictly in white, which is, if you do it in white, you can see, if you have the, you know, the light coming in, which always seems to be the major theme here, is, you know, with almost any medium, resin and everything, you can see your lines, you know. So if you block out a part of a piece of your artwork with the Posca pastel wax, oil-based pencil, when you put down a drop of ink, it will stay within the boundaries that you defined with that pencil. If you leave, you know, if you don't close the circle, or if you don't close the square, or whatever figure you have in there, if you don't close it, the alcohol will seep out, because when you drop a thing of alcohol, it spreads. If you drop another, drop of plain alcohol, it pushes the color out of the way. So it can be very difficult. So I watched her video from beginning to end, and I watched a few more, and I said, holy cow. It works. I'll be darned, it works. It was like joy. I get to use this. Now, normally my pieces are, I tend to want to, you know, have a lot in me. You know, I spent many years not doing art as an accountant, but that aside. But anyway, so that just, I have a lot in me, and I want to get it all out. So I go large. You know, I'm all out there. You know, I'm all over the place with go big or go home. But that's not true. That's just not true. That doesn't make a piece good. It just means that I'm getting it out of myself. And luckily they come out pretty good, some of them. Not all of them. I got some that I'm fixing. Okay, so let's go to this. Okay, I have never really done anything of late this small. And I have to tell you, the beauty that I saw her do with alcohol inks in very small quantities was really, really humbling to me. And it really took me back to what really mattered. And that is that when you're doing your art, no matter what it is, if you're not enjoying yourself, or if you're just in a rush to produce because, you know, you're out there and you're producing pieces and people want to buy them, and that's great. You know, that's super great. Some people can produce mass quantities of things, and it, you know, but it took me back to why I started doing art in the first place. And this is just me, guys. This is only about me. This is my perspective. So I just really want to impress that, okay? Any kind of art you do, any kind of art, as long as you're doing art, do art. Do art. I don't care what it is. But speaking for myself, what this has done for me is this piece that you have here is very, very simple. What I did, and what you're about to see, is I took the Posca pastel pencils, and I took a subject that I was very comfortable with, which is a subject which is a wave, because, you know, just something that is abstract. It's very versatile. You can do so much with it. Everybody loves it. Come on, everybody loves the water. The water is just, it's like the best thing on earth to paint, and landscape and sunsets and stuff like that. But anyway, so I started with a subject matter that I was very comfortable with, and I blocked it out. As you can see, there are various parts to this, various colors, and I blocked it out using the Posca pencil, which, like I said, you're about to see, and not, and 9 times out of 10, when I laid down the alcohol and I laid down the ink, it stayed within the boundaries of the pastel pencil. The times that it didn't was if I dabbed it or if I in any way compromised the line of the pencil, it could bleed out very slightly. If I put a drop that's just plop, too big, of course it's going to go outside the lines. So you have to be very focused. And I think that's what really, for me, it took me back to, I was so into this, and I was just so, it was like the Zen, the Zen moment of what art is all about. And no matter what you do, if you're in the moment and you're not thinking of anything else but what you're doing, what a gift. What a gift that is, that you don't have to think about the problems in your life or the problems in the world. I'm a worrier, and this pulls me into a place that I feel so grateful for. So whether you write or whether you take pictures or whether you paint or whether you, no matter what you do, calligraphy, anything that you do that you can bring beauty into the world, I'm telling you, man, you just got to get out there and do it, because it transcends you to a place where, it's your own. That's your space, and nobody can come there unless you invite them. But anyway, so let me get to it. Enough of my preaching. Just take a good look at this. That I didn't even get into the different things that you can do with this. I don't know if I'm done. For the most part, for the purpose of this video, I am. But I might take just a tiny bit of brass, and I might just very delicately go along some of those lines. I don't know. I'm a real sucker for metallics. I really love them. I have something behind me. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I'm gonna embellish it somehow. And I have so much going on, and it just makes life great. So listen, you guys, stick with me. Look at what I'm doing. When you block out with your pen, if you do decide to do this, I got the pencils from markers.com or something like markersupply.com. I didn't get them from Amazon. I'm not endorsing anything. These are Posca pens. They're wax-based. They work. I don't think it would be the same if you just use a lead pencil. So I followed the rules that according to how she did it, and it was just beautiful. So do yourself a favor, check this site out in the description, and I'm going to be narrating through this as fast as I can. It's a little bit longer than I like, but I hope you get something out of it. Have a really great day. I'm off on vacation, but I'll be doing this from Florida. So I'll talk to you soon, guys. Have a great day. Bye. Okay, so this Lazy Susan is actually meant for a cake. It's very, very heavy duty, very sturdy, made of metal. And I'm reconstituting some ink because alcohol ink is not a use it or lose it type of medium. You can reconstitute it just by adding some alcohol to it. It might be thicker and you might have to thin it down, or you might thin it too much and have to add more pigment, but I'm just going to be showing you some close-ups because I did most of my outline for this painting in white Posca pastel pencils. So what you're going to see me do, and I'm going to try to get some close-ups here, is that you're going to see me put down some lines in some darker colors so that you can see that by using, for example, this stylus, as I drop in the ink, it stays within the lines for the most part, unless in some way I have compromised it myself. But it does work. And once I was able to really get a handle on this, I just became really excited because I realized that I could still use this and still create beautiful pieces, big or small, really. You would just have to, when you block your pieces in, if you use this method with the Posca wax, I'm sorry, with the Posca pastel oil-based pencils is, you know, you just make your blocking out larger. And if you have enough ventilation, you can certainly go as big as you want. Now, what I do with these is, excuse me, for this I used alcohol 91 isopropyl in very small amounts and some alcohol blending solution because as I understand it, it has a binder in it, and I think I've already said that in the last video, but I will reiterate some of that. And so as you're watching this video, I'm just going to talk about some things to keep in mind, and just take a look at what I'm doing. I'm painting, but I'm also using a stylus to get into those fine corners of this particular painting because it's not very big and there's a lot of detail. There's a lot that I blocked out, and it's hard to see it because I did it in white. Now you're going to see me use some blue pencil in parts of this so that you can see the parts that I've blocked out and get a better idea of how the ink stays within that. Now that's a blending pen, and it's exactly as it sounds, and it really gives the painting a very smooth, soft effect if that's what you want in certain areas. And I did, because with this wave I wanted it to sort of be very soft and swept up in some parts, but I still wanted to show the how the paint was blocked out. I wanted to show this technique. So I wanted to show that technique within this painting, but I also wanted to blend some of them together to give it a softer look. I wanted both in here. And I probably will go a little further with this. I might add some brass and just very gently paint in some soft lines in between the different parts of the colors, just to give a little bit of separation and also some bling. I really love metallic, as I've already said. So I'm going to go between a paintbrush and a stylus. I go back and forth throughout the entire painting. And the other thing is that if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. You can erase it you can take a Q-tip, you can put a little alcohol on it and wipe it away. You can take your paintbrush and sweep it into a different part of the painting, or you can just take straight alcohol on your paintbrush and wipe it away and use a little piece of paper towel. It comes off very easily, and I neglected to tell you that the type of paper that I'm using for this is called Yupo paper or Yupo paper. I still don't know how to pronounce it. And I ordered different shapes. I ordered oval, I ordered round, and I ordered rectangle because I wanted to try all different things with this. I'm really excited about this. And I think that the possibilities of what you can do with this, that there's no limit. So typically when you lay down a drop of ink or a drop of alcohol and then a drop of ink on top of it to help it flow better, it spreads out really into a circle, almost a perfect circle. And by laying down lines with the pastel pencils, is you're in control of how the ink flows. And that's really the crux of this entire process, this entire method, is that you're taking control of the ink, you're directing it where it has to go. And when you realize that you can do that, that's where your imagination can really begin to kick in. That's when mine kicked in. And when I realized that I didn't have to use a blow dryer, that's not to say I never will, because I know I will. I'm going to take this in many different directions, but this is one that I'm focusing on right now. You don't have to use an airbrush for this. Right now I'm just, like I said, I'm going back and forth between a paintbrush and a stylus. It doesn't mean that my future paintings will be limited to this. I might use all all four of them, who knows, it depends on the piece. But just know that you have options. Also, there's so many tools out there that really help facilitate wherever you want to go with this. The stylists, they're very thin. Some of them are very thick on the end. So you can put a very thick drop or a very thin drop. You can do it with a thicker paintbrush or a thinner paintbrush. It depends what you want, how much ink you want to put in the what you've blocked out. So coming up, what I decided to do on one is to put a drop of alcohol down and then put the ink on top of it. I think I'm doing that right here, as a matter of fact. And then you saw me blot it, because that gives me, sometimes I'll see that the ink is just a little bit too much, and so I'll just blot it very quickly, just blot it. But it also gives it texture. It lightened it up. It made it exactly how I wanted it to be. And, so just bear that in mind, that if you put a little bit too much ink on there, you can just blot it, take it off, wipe it off gently. Alcohol ink won't come off with water, but it will come off with alcohol. And that's why, ergo, alcohol inks. So as I'm moving along here, I'm really into this, and I'm trying different things. And as I go along, I'm blending parts of the pieces that I've blocked off into other pieces, because although I'm using the different colors within each part that I've blocked off, I still want it to flow. In other words, I don't want something to be so overly dark on one part and yet so completely light on the other. I wanted there to be some continuity. And so, again, as I said, I'll probably go back and take a look at this and just give it another once over and see if I need or want to change anything. Right now, I'm happy the way it is, and I'm stepping back and I'm leaving it alone for a while, because I don't want to ruin it. But as I've said before, you really do need to step back sometimes when you feel like you want to go someplace, you have something very, very specific in mind, and if you feel that in any way that you're compromising your vision, just take a step back. I've said it over and over, and I'm going to say it again, because it's a lesson that I learn all the time. I've taken paintings too far to the point where I've actually ruined them, and hopefully I've learned my lesson, but maybe not. I'm sure it'll happen again in my life. One thing a characteristic of alcohol inks, that if you haven't noticed already, or if you've worked with them, you understand it, is that if you have alcohol, because alcohol ink will succumb or move out of the way for straight alcohol. In other words, you put a drop of ink down and then you put a drop of straight alcohol on top of it. It will push the color out of the way. And that's very important to understand, because you can use that to your favor. You can use that to your advantage. If you have, it depends on the effect that you're trying to achieve. Toward the end of this piece, what I did is I dipped my brush into straight alcohol and into white alcohol ink, because I wanted to get the effect of a little bit of splashing, a little bit of water within the waves itself. I don't think I achieved it fully, but there are other ways to achieve it. Right now, I'm not going to do any more, but you will see it toward the end. So if you want a more distressed look, if you want to break up that alcohol for whatever reason, because it works with your piece, just take the tip of a blending pen, a tip of a stylus, a tip of a Q-tip, a tip of a paper towel, whatever you have at your, in your disposal, and just dot it. Take some straight alcohol, isopropyl, and just make a small dot on that ink, and you're going to see it. the pigment just move out of the way slightly, and you're going to have a very light spot where you laid that alcohol down. And that can be a very, very pretty effect. And it will especially work for this piece because it's water. I don't mean to jump around on the characteristics of alcohol ink, but this is a rather long video, and I have the time to do it. So I just want to tell you that just like acrylics and just like any other medium, or almost any other medium that certainly that I've used, you can mix your colors. You can mix your colors. You can take white and teal and blue, or and make a sea foam, or you can take dark blue and some white and make light blue. You can do that. There's no limit to that. I didn't, and I did do it. I did it within the the little palette that I had, and I will clean it out with alcohol. And that's another kind of a nice little perk is is that everything cleans up really well with alcohol, but just be sure to wear your mask and wear some gloves, or you're going to dry your hands out pretty well. And as I said, you don't want to hurt your lungs or anything like that. The room, I really didn't have to worry about it. There was very little alcohol in this painting as far as isopropyl alcohol. Very little, very, very, very little fumes, which is another reason why I'm so attracted to this technique, is that I'm not inundated with vapors and fumes as I am with my much larger piece, where I have to really put, like the birch, quite a bit of alcohol to let that the ink flow. But again, I'm new, and I'm going to keep learning, and I'll learn all the time. And so hopefully you're getting enough out of this, because that's how we learn. We learn, and then we push it along. So you're going to see me as this moves along, and we're getting pretty close to the end. You're going to see me dab in different colors. You're going to see me use the blending pen a lot. I put a different tip on that alcohol bottle, and there I am dabbing in some ink. I put the alcohol in first, and now I'm moving it around with my stylus. You will find that the ink moves much easier when you put a little drop of alcohol down first. The bottles that I ordered each bottle comes with about 6 different tips, and you can, I don't like a lot of alcohol spilling out onto something, a painting this size, so I put a tip with a very small opening on it, so that when I put the alcohol on, I didn't get a giant clump. So I'll probably do that with some of my inks too, so that I have better control over the size of the drop that comes out, and customize my colors a little bit more as I move along in my learning of this medium. One thing I think that also is very important is, if you use the wax pencils, the pastels, be very sure that you don't carry the pencil, the part of your pencil marks too far into your painting, because it will resist color if you do it too much. It will push the color away. So you want to be very specific and have a very clear picture in your mind of how you want this to work. I tripped over it, but it's real and it makes sense. It's oil, you're putting water and ink on top of it, and if you use too much of it or you try to swipe over it, it's going to resist your ink. So, but as you can see, I've had no trouble at all whatsoever. Parts of the lines I have gone over, and it has accepted it. So I didn't make my lines too thick, but I made them thick enough that I could block off sections of the ink in different shades and colors and so on. So now you're going to see me plot in or blot in my little splash marks. I might take that further, I don't know. I might use some brass and some gold in there. We'll see. If I do, I'll record it, And we'll see if I take this any further. But it was a lot of fun. I hope you try it. I hope you join me again. And I hope you visit the site. And have a great day, everybody, okay? Take care now. Bye-bye.